Friday edition of SNL. The final injury report is out. There's a couple of things to look at, some good news, some bad news, some stuff perhaps that we anticipated. The big concern heading into the weekend, it's been discussed a lot. Are you less or more confused? We'll get into that in a sec. But first, let's talk about this final injury report, Cody. Nothing too massive unless you make something of Stefon Diggs being limited today after a rest day and two full participations.
Yeah, so the official, I mean, this is the one that the Texans tweeted out, the one that they send out that has both injury reports on there is not injury-related rest. So, maybe he just worked really hard on those 2 days and he needed a little bit of a lighter day. Limited just means you didn't do everything in practice. So I'm not worried about Stefon Diggs. We knew Azeez Al-Shaair was headed this way with two DNPs.
We in here talking about practice.
And then Henry To'o, questionable, feels like he's going to go to me.
Yeah, I think he's going.
Yeah, and then
been a process for him.
And yeah, the concussion protocol is strange, but if I remember correctly, because we talked about this a lot with CJ Stroud last year when he was in the concussion protocol, once you hit a couple of practices, you're very close to being finished and out of the concussion protocol. So To'o should play. You'll have a replacement, a backup next to him. I would think likely Neville Hewitt with him, but then Hansen there as a backup for Hewitt if you need him. We'll see if they need Devin White. And then we've known Jimmy Ward was going to miss for a while as well. So,
yeah, the Al-Shaair and the Jimmy Ward are interesting. Jimmy Ward's pretty close, I think. I don't know if he's New York Jets close, but I would be shocked if he wasn't playing against the Lions. Same thing with Nico Collins. I think both of those guys, I would bet on that. I would also bet on Al-Shaair being back with the Lions, but I just don't know. I don't know how they look at it. I just don't know that you really want to throw someone out there, especially the injuries we're talking about with Ward and Al-Shaair. Their first game being back against the Jets. I don't know, but I would think that's not the case. But the other way of looking at it is you get 10 days rest afterwards. So your guess is as good as mine on that, but that's how I would look at it.
My gripe with Jimmy Ward missing the Jets game, if he's not ready for that, is why didn't he go on injured reserve? Because then he would have missed 4 games.
That's a good point.
And you sat here for 4 weeks.
That's actually a really solid point. So maybe they do bring him back for the Jets.
You sat here for 4 weeks playing roster gymnastics with a guy that and maybe they just show up every day thinking, hey, okay, he's going to be a lot closer to coming back than we think, and it just hadn't worked. But if he misses the Jets game, he should have gone on injured reserve, and they should have had somebody kind of holding down that roster spot till he was back. Last year, they got very close, and in fact, they did use all of their injured reserve returns. They're not that close this year, so you could have made that sound argument. Well, let's see with Jimmy Ward on. We'll get an injury report Monday for the Thursday game. It turns around so quick, and you really don't think about that short week until you realize all the work gets jammed into 2 days because they don't do anything on Wednesday. They travel and do a walkthrough and then they play Thursday.
Yeah, that's gonna be a tough little stretch for the Texans, and that's why I think, and we can get into this a little bit later on. I think this game, the significance of this game is just through the roof.
Sure.
I think it's absolutely through the roof in more ways than one. And we can talk about that on the back end, but just to reset for the people and shout out to the people. It is SNL with Landry Locker, Cody Stoots, 2 best digital brands in local Texans news, always on the scene, individually and as a team, Monday through Friday here. We'll reset the 3 biggest things, but I think you got something else to add to this.
Well, obviously the big positive is Kamari Lassiter is back. He's 2 limiteds and a full. He's back. He's ready to play. So no more D'Angelo Ross. I don't anticipate a perfect passer rating when they go at Kamari Lassiter. Mm-hmm. And Robert Woods is back. So that's your returner if you want him to be your returner.
Hold that thought.
Well, also, too, remember when Tank Dell was out, Robert Woods got the majority of the wide receiver snaps.
Yeah.
So he hasn't been healthy since Nico Collins has been out. I do wonder if Robert Woods is going to get utilized more in the offense with Nico Collins out, like he did when Tank was out for a game.
I thought it was a pretty funny moment today as we were leaving practice. The open locker room portion of practice. Myself and Stoots, we were walking out of the locker room, and we saw Frank Ross, and I just nonchalantly said, "Hey, what's up, Frank?" And he was kind of foaming out the mouth, like he was basically like, "Got to be on it today. Got to be good." I was like, "That was a hell of a performance the other day. You made me look good." I said that the special teams were going to be good. He's like, "Oh, we got to go out there. Just 100% intensity, always on when it comes to Frank Ross."
Yeah, he is still got that poor special teams performance from week 1 stuck in his craw, and he really wants a bounce back. And it feels like the special teams are trending absolutely in the right direction, which is, not the case for some of the other pieces of this team.
Yeah, and in fairness, and I have a couple of special teams proposals that I want to get to in a sec, but let's hear from the defensive side of the rock. Let's hear from Tim Settle. Caught up with Tim Settle at practice, after practice, just kind of asked about his mindset and also kind of asked about life. I think we can all relate to airplane problems. Tim Settle's probably a little bit different than ours. Here's what Tim Settle had to say about that on the final Friday before the big game in Indianapolis here on SNL.
All right, so division game, Colts, second time around. What's the mindset heading in there?
Play physical, knock the line of scrimmage back, and stop their key players, run players.
What does Jonathan Taylor present as a challenge?
Bigger back, downhill back, definitely gets yards after contact. He's good with his feet, got good precision. Has a real good gap awareness, but I feel like if we stay tuned to defense, we'll be better.
You seem like kind of a vet that likes to kind of bring that physical style. Do you feel like that's kind of the identity of this defense? We talk about swarm, but physicality.
Absolutely, I feel like that determines the output of a lot of games. I feel like physicality and just whoever wins the line of scrimmage, I feel like has a better chance of winning the game.
You look forward to being home. Y'all had a couple of road games. You look forward to being back at home, not having to travel or anything like
Absolutely.
that?
Absolutely. Fans have been great this year. We appreciate every fan that come out. It feels like home when we're home, and come on.
How do you like traveling? Are you a window seat or aisle guy on the plane?
I want the whole row. I'm a whole row guy. I need my whole. I need to lay my head or something. I need to lay down. I need to rest.
Okay, so like if you were. I doubt you're flying like in normal spots, but you try to take up as much space as possible so people don't sit by you.
Yeah, so that's how you go about it. I've been in the league too long. So I need a little row.
All right, man.
All right, there you go. It's Tim Settle.
Tim Settle, I gotta imagine, flies a little bit different than you and I when he does fly.
Yeah.
But he does give you give him good advice and he confirms it. When you're a big guy and you think the plane's not gonna be full, you do kind of try to make yourself a little bit bigger so that people don't sit next to you. Try to save as much or try to get as much space as you can.
I'll take your word for it. I'm tall, so there is that. You kind of want to look taller, like 6'6".
Yeah, but
I'll tell you this though, you're a nightmare if you're sitting in a seat. Cody Stoots is walking to the plane after you're sitting down. That's a nightmare. No offense.
I don't like people sitting next to me. Yeah, I'm fat. I invade people's space. No wonder nobody wants to sit next to me. I don't want those people sitting next to me either. Jerk.
So to reset the three big things from the injury report, the three big things. Azeed Al-Shire and Ward, they're not going to go on Sunday. Status on Thursday still up in the air. I think Stoots brings up a very strong point that Jimmy Ward missing 4 games would be unfortunate given the fact that he didn't go on IR. That's number one. Number 2, Henry To'oTo'o is back. We anticipate he will be on the field on Sunday, which would be pretty significant given the fact that they're already thin at linebacker. And number 3, and this is kind of a question, does anything need to be made of Diggs being limited? We'll keep a close eye on that. We may not know the answer to that question until the game starts. Maybe something lingers or whatever, but it is an interesting note that he was limited today. So we'll keep an eye on that. You already don't have Nico Collins. See what happens with Diggs, especially, again, with the quick turnaround against the Jets, which is something that we keep bringing up.
Yeah, that would be like that's one of the most immediate things coming out of Sunday's game, whatever the result is how healthy are you heading into that Thursday quick turnaround?
So let's try to make some sense of these offensive line issues. And the way that I want to do this, and the question that I'm posing to the people, and shout out to the people, be sure to subscribe, like, right along. It is SNL, the Friday edition of SNL. Check out the Locker Room Night Stream tonight at 10:30. Check out Cody's fine videos and breakdowns throughout the day, as well as his written word. Not the written word that you normally think of, but the written word around here on HOU football. I'm going to ask this question. Are you more or less confused by what the Texans think the issue is along the offensive line? And I always take it with a grain of salt when they speak, because they're not going to tell us the truth all the time. A lot of times the biggest problem, like yesterday, I think Bobby Slowik, if we wanted to summarize the 3 minutes he gave me on his final series, his last offensive series that we saw, I would say there's a couple things. First of all, I screwed up. Second of all, here's why I screwed up. And third of all, our offensive line sucks, but I don't want to admit that our offensive line sucks. That was what I heard. He said on first down, he said we didn't block well. Well, that sucks. That's the offensive line not doing their job. And then even the play, he said, yeah, we called this play. And he said CJ probably shouldn't get rid of it at that point, but he'd been hit 12 times. So that's our offensive line sucks. That's what I heard. Now,
he basically said that at the end of that play, if CJ gets to all his reads, we keep the ball in bounds, but we couldn't get there because the quarterback had been getting hit.
Yeah. And he was in his own head. So that's basically what he said. So here's the question. We know the offensive line stinks, and they stunk in Green Bay. The why is really hard to figure out, or it's at least hard to figure out if you try to investigate the verbal presentation of all of the Texans. The coaches.
I'm just so surprised. And we'll start with Monday to Nico, and then we'll go through there. But I'm just so surprised that there wasn't one clear message that everybody was saying.
I know.
About the offensive line.
They weren't even on the same page. Like there wasn't like and that's great because, a lot of times we got to execute. We got to execute. We got to execute. We got to execute.
Well,
but there were so many messages here. Like this was mixed message central right here.
Yes. Like it was, and we'll hear from DeMeco Ryans and Bobby Slowik and CJ Stroud and Juice Scruggs and Tytus Howard. And we'll be all over the place here on this. But like, I just couldn't. I can't. And I know Bobby Slowik says it's never one thing. That's what he said about offensive line play or offense. It's never one. It's never just one thing.
True.
But you could have just made it one thing verbally. Like you could have just said, "Hey, we're gonna do this,"
or it just could be everything. Like all these answers could be true. But it is interesting when you kind of relive it, and that's what we want to do along with you. All right. So we'll start right off the top with
Monday, DeMeco Ryans.
Yeah, DeMeco, what went wrong, Coach?
One of the things to clean up when it comes to our protection, and it's everyone involved, right? O-line, tight ends, backs, is everybody working together, being on the same page, and just getting it done. Like we've had multiple weeks where the same things have hurt us multiple times, so we have to get it fixed, starting with the coaches and down to the players of finishing and executing it.
Okay.
That was his, and then you asked him a great follow-up question to this. Hey, is this guys getting benched? Is this a change to the scheme? What is it?
For me, everything is on the table when it comes to it has to get fixed.
Okay. So everything's on the table. Pretty much everything's a problem. Pretty much it's been inconsistent. That's what we got from DeMeco there.
Yeah. Like, hey, it felt like a rough, tough week ahead. These guys got to get it right. That was my feel coming out of Monday. Then we got to Wednesday, Landry.
Yeah. And then Wednesday, DeMeco was asked about concerns, and it's almost like maybe something happened in practice. Maybe they feel like they got to the bottom of something. Maybe there's some sort of change. Maybe they feel like Indianapolis isn't capable of making them look bad, but all of a sudden coach ain't worried.
Yeah.
We'll end this together and we'll be fine. I know everybody has questions on the offensive line. Of course, it wasn't a great outing. Hey, we move on. How do you show up this week That's what it's all about, man. You show up, have a bad day, it happens. How do you respond to have a better day the next outing? So I'm looking forward to seeing our guys play this week.
Okay, so maybe there was a hell of a practice. Maybe it was a hell of a practice, hell of a film session, don't know. But now everything's on the table, and now we're going to be fine. But can you do all that in 1 week? Can you solve all these problems in 1 week, Coach? Help me out, please.
It is fixable. And that's the encouraging part about it. All of it is fixable. Our guys have picked up these stunts and different things that we've seen. Our guys have picked it up before. So I'm encouraged, right, to see how our guys respond this week. We'll see similar things, right? Whenever one team does something on tape, you have to get ready and prepare for the next week because teams will see, like, have you put the fire out? So it's a great opportunity to see us go put the fire out this week. It's a tough challenge versus this defensive line. They do a great job of executing their stunts really well. So we know, we'll have our hands full again this week.
All right. Interesting enough, that's the coach.
Now maybe his confidence that we played from the first Wednesday clip, because we went Monday, Wednesday. Maybe his confidence comes from the fact that it all is fixable.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe they had a great practice. Maybe it was awesome.
To feel that way after one Wednesday practice, it must not have been that big a thing to clean up, huh?
Well, I don't know. Let's go to the players now. That's the coach. We'll go to the players. Let's hear from the face of the franchise, the guy that has to suffer the consequences the most for whatever the hell is going on with those 5 guys in front of him, 6 sometimes 7. But it kind of is what it is. Here is CJ Stroud talking about how he feels about the inability to protect him.
Just for me, just getting the ball out on time, being able, to try to stay comfortable after getting hit, and really just trying to make everybody around me better. I got the utmost respect and, a trust in my O-line. One outing doesn't make you a definition. You know what I mean? There's plenty of games that you can go look at the film and they did an amazing job. So I don't believe in the banter and all this. I don't even see it. I'm not really on social media, but I hear about it and I just just like you guys beat them down, I want y'all to praise them as well. So this next week, I know that the protection is gonna be great, and I can't wait for it. And I want y'all to do the same thing y'all doing now, and just be more positive. But same time, it's the league we in. We're not feeling bad for ourselves. We grown men, we can take it. You know what I mean? And I know that they want to be better, and they will.
Okay.
Knows they want to be better, and they will be better.
Yeah. So there's some confidence. I'm telling you, it must have been a hell of a practice. Yeah. I think Tuesday and Wednesday practice are great.
Yeah, they must have ripped them Monday in film, and then Wednesday, it must have just been perfect. Wednesday must have just been perfect.
So let's hear from Bobby Slowik, and then we'll hear from 2 of the offensive linemen themselves. Let's start with Bobby Slowik, offensive coordinator for the Texans. How much of this has to do with you? How confident are you that this can change, Coach?
A multitude of things. It's never just one thing, right? But it's shown up probably about 3 times this year where we've had some issues in protection that are completely controllable. So for me, that starts with me. I'm not doing something right. I'm not coaching something right. I'm not saying things in a way that needs to be interpreted the way it needs to be interpreted. Because honestly, the things that we missed in the game are things that D'Amico's been giving us day one in training camp. So it's stuff that I know they've seen and they've done and they've knocked out before.
Okay.
Man, careful with that sword, Bobby.
He said a number of things. He said 3 times. So the 3 times would be Minnesota, Green Bay, and Chicago.
You could pick your poison. They got sacked 4 times week 1 against Indianapolis too.
So we go in NFC North. Is the NFC North just the kryptonite for the Texans? And they haven't even played the best team in there yet? Well, They don't want to have to face Aiden Hutchinson either.
Yeah, that's true.
But,
no Aiden Hutchinson. So Slowik, he went up there and he fell on the sword. It's my fault. I haven't got him ready. It's happened at least 3 times this season. Remember that Bobby Slowik said it happened at least 3 times with this offensive line. I want you to remember that. I think.
Well, D'Amico said it's been happening over and over. And then he was confident about it.
Yep, I want everybody to remember that
there was changes, perhaps.
I want everybody to remember that this was not a one-off to the coaches at the podium.
All right, let's hear from Tytus Howard, right tackle. He wasn't a big factor last year. Now he's the starting right tackle for the Texans. Polarizing guy, at least in these chat room streets, I would say. Tytus Howard. Let's hear. I caught up with Tytus Howard in the locker room on Wednesday. Yeah, it was Wednesday. And this is what he had to say about the offensive line issues. And there's a lot here. This generated quite a reaction. There's a lot here from Tytus, but we've heard from two coaches. We've heard from the quarterback. Let's hear from a guy that's actually going to have to block and be a part of that communication. Let's hear from Tytus Howard here on SNL on a Friday version.
Yeah, just be on the details, so the little things. All the stuff they did, man, we've seen it before. We've seen it at practice. It's just when you get out there in the game, you get on the road, we just can't do stuff that we haven't been coached to do. So that's the thing. We went out there and did stuff that we haven't been doing. So that's really just being coachable, being detailed, staying in the moment, man, and just trusting each other. And that's the biggest thing we got to do. Continue to trust each other, pick each other up when we're down, and just keep balling, man. Because I mean, it's gonna be ups and downs and stuff like this, but we got to stay together. And we're gonna get it right this week. Go out there and ball out. And once we get the ball out, I mean, all the other stuff will take care of itself.
Now, he also said on a clip that you posted that this was an uncharacteristic performance by them.
Yeah, he said that. And the thing about, like, they must have just gotten a lot of encouragement on Wednesday or Tuesday or something. Like, look, keep your confidence. We're gonna get this done. I know that film was tough. Probably got some very, very intense feedback from the coaches. And then I just sense, like, from what we heard Wednesday on, that the vibe kind of changed, and it was like, okay, we can handle this because we're good enough. So there must have been like some sort of like, guys, y'all still have the talent, y'all are still capable type of vibe. That's what I've gathered from this, just from like being there from Monday to Wednesday.
Yeah, so that I just wonder if they got a bunch of those, like, you ever get the sandwich of criticism where they give you like a compliment, then they tell you what you did bad, then they finish with a compliment.
I feel like that's my lifestyle.
It's like, hey guys, Joe was rushing his ass off. You guys did a great job on the ground. CJ almost died about 5 times, and he had to get away from a lot of the pressure. So we got to clean that up. But also, when you guys had to block on special teams, on kickoffs, on field goals, you guys did a good job. So, just clean up that pass blocking. But the other stuff was good, guys. Give them the old criticism sandwich.
Yeah. The question I would have before we hear from Scruggs is, how does their confidence make you feel? Like, because there's certain coaches in this line of work where their confidence, like, you kind of just throw it to the side. Like O'Brien, after a while, O'Brien was back and forth. I don't want to be unfair with O'Brien, but at times it was just like, especially with the offense and how much they struggled to be efficient, it was just kind of like, whatever. Well, we got to execute. Yeah, whatever. All right, Bill, whatever. We'll see. We'll see if Deshaun can save all butts or the defense can bail you out. But like whenever Lovie Smith or David Culley would exude confidence, you would just kind of like sweep it aside and be like, all right, that's cute. But for some reason, I don't know what it is. I don't know if you feel this. I'm speaking for myself. I'm not speaking for anyone else. I know most of the people that watch this channel, they observe at least what D'Amico says. And sometimes I think there's a certain portion that get upset that he's not like throwing crap and flipping crap and getting pissed. But his confidence is just kind of like, I almost believe it, specifically after losses, to where, and I mean, there's no reason not to, because he's recovered quite nicely from losses, whether it's someone beating his ass the first time and then him getting back at him, or a poor performance, a struggling performance, and they go out there and figure it out. Like when D'Amico has the confidence, I believe it. But when I hear Tytus Howard talking about the offensive line, and I hear CJ Stroud talking about how he believes in this offensive line, I'll be honest, I don't really buy it. I buy that maybe it can be not as crappy against the Colts, but I don't buy it like I buy D'Amico Ryan's confidence when adversity is striking. So that's the issue I have. I don't believe in this offensive line, and I don't believe that this offensive line is capable of doing their job to the level that a D'Amico Ryans is capable of.
You nor I were great students in college or probably in high school. So when you're getting back a grade at a class you're not very good at, you're always wondering, is it a C or a D? Is it a C or a D? With D'Amico Ryans, it's a C. It's confidence.
Yeah.
With guys like Tytus Howard, it's a D. It's delusion. It's delusion. To say this is an uncharacteristic performance against Green Bay when you're 6th in quarterback pressure allowed, when you're 4th in total quarterback pressures allowed, and you're 4th in sacks, that's delusional.
So my question is this, though, because, and we appreciate everyone for coming through. It is SNL here on YouTube, Landry Locker Coach says. So my question is this, though. Is sometimes delusion can be a good thing. Like I think Steven Nelson last year, some people say he's delusional. I think it actually made him the player that he was. And I'm not sitting here saying he's but I think the mindset that Steven Nelson has, I think that it was valuable to him being the best possible football player because I think he needed that mindset on the field for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. Now, it might get old, it might get exhausting, and a lot of times it might be obnoxious to where he's not capable of doing what he thinks he's going to do, but I think it puts him in the best position to succeed because I think he's kind of built like that. When you hear Tytus Howard and he talks and it just kind of seems like he doesn't have a real grasp of what's going on, and you hear D'Amico Ryans say everything's on the table. So he's acknowledging that it's a lot of things. And then you hear Bobby Slowik say it's not just one thing. A lot of times it's a lot of things. So he's basically repeating what D'Amico Ryans is saying. Does like the delusion of Tytus Howard how does that make you feel? I don't really, is it just like whatever?
It might not be
like, how does it make you feel?
It might not be a bad thing for him. I just don't want it to permeate through like that was some sort of one-off and they can hang their hat on, well, we've been really good the other 6 games. You haven't been really good the other 6 games.
Let's hear from Juice Scruggs because Juice Scruggs has an interesting task. And a lot of the communication they talk about Juice Scruggs. I did find it rather interesting that Bobby Slowik said that CJ and Juice did a good job. Like, did you notice that? Like he said the communication, and I know that Juice's name was brought up, but he did say CJ and Juice were doing a pretty good job of getting it. And when I asked Bobby, is it about knowing the message, knowing what's going on or what? And he says it's not always a lot of things. But let's hear from Juice Scruggs.
Three different topics covered here by Scruggs. So pay attention to the topics.
Damn, he must have been getting interviewed by someone who knew what the hell was going on then.
The video courtesy of yours truly.
We just gotta be better. Every dog has a bad day, and that was just us Sunday. We just didn't have a good day, but we know that wasn't us, and we know what we're capable of. And
you sure?
We're just excited to come out this Sunday and just show the world what we can do. Definitely the stunts. That's been the biggest thing, in pro. We got beat a lot with the games and the blitzes and twists. So just working on that and just making sure we're on the same page. That's been the biggest thing this week in practice so far, and I feel like Sunday we'll be all right. I would say so, yeah. Definitely CJ, if he sees anything, he overrides anything I say, of course. But yeah, definitely. We just got to be better for real. It wasn't really, I wouldn't say the communication was bad. It was just, it just got us for real. We got beat, and we just got to come on Sunday and just be prepared for it. For sure.
All right, there you go.
I thought Juice's final comment was probably the most telling of all the comments.
Okay.
And there's a little bit, D'Amico Ryans had it a little bit on Wednesday, but Juice saying, yeah, what really communication? We just got beat. Like, it really is those 5 guys up there just being bad. Like it's not Slowik didn't teach them what to do. It's not, it's not they didn't get the play call in right. It's not Juice didn't call the right protection, though he did admit at one point that he guessed wrong on a expected blitz, and they got him on that. But he's like, it wasn't really communication. We just got to be better. We got to win in our individual battles. The 78 and 76 and 70 and 69 and 71 haven't been good enough. That's what ultimately what I decided this week. They haven't been good enough, and they're just not. They were not talented enough on Sunday, and they're probably not talented enough on a week in, week out basis.
Super chat. How do you pronounce that? ADU 890?
Yeah, I just go with ADU.
ADU, Cody Stoots, the shout out. The offensive line thing's interesting. And I have a couple of proposals to the third phase in a second that I just want to throw your way. Two guys that might not be getting it done in one of the top two phases, maybe kind of spread that impact to the third phase. And maybe that gets them going. I have that proposal in a second. I want to see if you're buying or selling along with the people on that. But I think the offensive line is kind of like my Reaction Monday rant, where I don't know when this started happening, but people, there's some people who, whenever you say something like a bad reason, they say that it's not the main reason. I feel like that's the offensive line to a whole. Like and I think you can drive yourself crazy when you sit there and you try to just point to one thing. Like there can be someone that says it's communication, and then someone will say, well, they're just getting their ass kicked, or well, like it's everything. Like it's everything. So I don't think there's like one clear problem. And we'll see if there's any changes. I don't know whether they're going to change or not.
So
I have no idea.
That's one thing I did want to mention is Wednesday they put the offensive line out there, first team unit.
Mm-hmm.
Line was unchanged
Mm-hmm.
in the open portion of practice. Thursday, they did not do that. They did not put the offensive line together as a unit, as a first team unit during the Thursday practice. They skipped that little piece and little step of practice,
Mm-hmm.
which they don't typically do. Now they do skip it on Fridays,
Mm-hmm.
but they skipped it on Thursday. So that to me, I just wonder, that's strange because, that would be the only time somebody would be able to report about a new body in a new spot.
Yeah, and I saw Kenyon Green on Wednesday. I didn't see him on Thursday or Friday. It seemed like he kind of dipped out early. Thursday, Friday. I like. Do you just want to see some sort of change at this point? Because I'm with you. See, there was no hesitation there because for me, and I hate this because I feel like this is like preseason offensive line talk for the Texans for like the last 6 years, that it can't be any worse. But it really can't be, because we actually saw this offensive line depleted last year and they were actually better. So I do think I want to see at least some sort of change with this. So does that mean, what does that mean? What does that look like? I don't know. And hey, maybe they found out on Wednesday that there was going to be some sort of change. I don't know.
My preference would be Green for Green. Kendrick Green in for Kenyon Green. And just see if my Christmas lights theory works.
Mm-hmm. And I would be okay with it.
I
would be okay with it. The magnitude of this game is significant. I think you have to win this one because of the short Thursday turnaround. I've talked about this for a second. If you lose this, there's a little bit of panic, especially heading to New York on a short week. So I think this is nothing short of a must-win game. I have two before we get out of here and we start to enjoy our damn weekends. And get ready to go to a game and enjoy some college pigskin manana. Little tonight, too. World Series begins, too. You know they have that still? I thought they canceled that when the Astros stopped going. But, yeah, there is a World Series.
You can't have the October baseball invitational without the Astros?
Yeah, I didn't think so. But I guess those aren't the rules. So I have two third-phase proposals. And these are two guys that really haven't produced a lot when it comes to what they're supposed to do on the reg. And I'm just going to throw these your way and the people's way. Yay or nay, Dameon Pierce full-time kick return from now on. We've seen him return one kick this year, I believe. Maybe more.
I believe it's just the one.
It was over 40 yards. It was over 40 yards. We wondered if he would fit in this thing. Are we yay or nay with Dameon Pierce full-time kick returner?
I say yay because he doesn't really. I mean, what else does he do? I just looked up the stats. That is his only kickoff return this year. What else does he do? I mean, you get him in there a little bit to spell Mixon, but he can't. It's not like he can't do the kickoff return. Mixon's in there for first and second down anyway.
So yay, I'm down with that too. I'm fine with it.
All in favor, say yay in the chat.
Yay.
No, I'm kidding.
Yay. No, say yay. Tank Dell, full-time punt returner, yes or no?
No. But I'd like him to return the majority of punts.
Okay. So it's Robert Woods for like safety and then Tank Dell for aggressiveness.
Yes. I like, so Woods, if it's a punt that's going to be 20 in, like they're punting from, middle of the field or right on the Texans side of the field, Woods, if they're punting from deep in their own territory, get me Tank, because that's typically the punt where you get everything gets scattered out and you can actually make a play. I don't want Tank catching it inside the 10 or near the 10. I mean, I think the phrasing Frank Ross used a couple weeks ago was, don't force the play, let the play come to you. I feel like that's more likely when Tank's, catching those ones when teams are pinned deep in their own territory.
I say just put him back there. Like just put him back there and let him do his thing. Like I think he's limited as a receiver right now when it comes to being like one of those like 1A, 1B, 1C type of guys. I think he's your distant number 3. Let him do what he's good at. And he can protect himself. He can figure it out. I'm in on it.
His separation stats are much lower from 2023 to 2024. Much lower.
Yeah, they're bad.
They're
actually bad.
Yeah, which is
actually like really bad. SS, I'll just say that to save myself from sounding like the biggest honky this side of the Mississippi. Give the
Safari Sensei.
Okay, Safari Sensei. There you go. Should I have known that?
Nah.
Give the O-line PEDs and time suspensions and injections accordingly. I like where your head's at, SS. So the chat apparently wants to see Dell die. Like, why is it assumed he's going to die if he returns punts? Like, if you're that worried about it, then, man, that's scary.
People are so soft sometimes.
Ooh,
so
you
soft.
said soft. Oh my gosh.
So soft.
Look at that. Someone says wait till Nico comes back. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. I could live with that.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I do wonder, like, do they look at Tank as a guy that they have to get involved? Because typically, like, if a wide receiver that you truly believe in, that's like your number one guy, and I'm generalizing this, I think this is the case. I have no way of proving this, so it's kind of chicken shit that I'm just saying it as if it's a fact. But it seems like if Tank Dell were one of your top receivers and he had a catchless day, you try to get him involved somewhat early just to like get something going. I would think that would be the case.
Yeah, the head coach sat there in the preseason and said, when Tank Dell gets the ball in his hands, everybody should stand up because he's dynamic when he gets the ball in his hands. Yeah. Well, you're having trouble throwing him the football. How about you go out there and you get him the ball another way where he can be dynamic with the ball in his hands.
So we'll see how it goes. It's going to be fun. I look forward to getting out there. If you're out there, let us know. I actually just met a viewer today. I was getting me some lunch. He came up. He'd moved here from Minnesota in 04 though, but that's where he was from. Shout out to him. Rudy's Barbecue got me some turkey and some beans. It's hard to go into Rudy's Barbecue and not just completely pig out, but I was healthy at Rudy's Barbecue. How about that?
That's a great job by you. That's a great job by you. I
saw
that
green chili stew goes ham too. It's one of the most underrated soups in the game. That green chili stew at Rudy's, whew, elite.
So just to follow up on the separation for Tank Dell. So last year he was legitimately one of the best separators in football. And like his separation score last year would have been as good as anybody this season. It's cut in half basically.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's cut in half. Yeah. So he's about as half as good in separation. Guy like him needs separation. Contested catch is not really his thing.
Not great. Marky Mark says we need to cut our losses with Kenyon Green. He's going to get CJ hurt. Ward reminds me of Will Fuller.
Damn, a lot going on there.
What happened to Will Fuller?
He never really got another shot after the PED suspension, did he?
He left for like some random ass reason that no one knew, and then like he hasn't even been around.
He hasn't played football since 2021.
Yeah. That was shocking, wasn't it?
He signed a 1-year, $10 million deal with the Dolphins in 2021, and then had a broken thumb and got put on IR and did not play again and did not get re-signed.
People can say what they want about Will Fuller. That was a bad mofo in 18 and 19. Y'all can say whatever the hell you want. When that dude was on the field with Hopkins, they were cooking, man. He was nice. I'm shocked. It's weird that he's not even like a serviceable guy anymore. Kind of wild.
Yeah, he's only 30 years old.
Yeah. Weird.
And it's, I mean, like I would wonder if there's like even a desire to play. Cause like, even if the NFL would give him a shot, Will Fuller could.
Yeah. He was like a year-to-year tire kit guy, like a year-to-year, make a couple million to go to camp and see what he has type of guy.
Or even like, oh, we haven't seen him play football in a couple of years. Cool. Let him go out there and kill a couple insurance guys in the XFL.
He was cold, dude. He was cold at his best. Yeah. Just never really got it done. Marky Mark again. Keyword is when he was on the field. That is very true.
True.
Very true, my friend. Very true. We need Akuta back because Ross was getting cooked. I don't know that Akuta is better than Ross right now. I'll just be honest. We'll see. I think we'll see Akuta back. Not too far away, but yeah, I don't know how good he is. He's physical.
I hope I never see either one of them on the field again. I hope it's 100% Derek Stingley and Kamari Lassiter from this point on.
Well, how about on the practice field, Cody?
I don't care what they do on the practice field. I'm talking about Sundays, buddy.
Good, Hardo. All right, appreciate y'all for coming through. Be sure to swarm the like button. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to like. And be sure to always remember when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together. This is the Friday edition, 4:00 every week. Although next week, it's going to be Reaction Monday. So we're going to have Reaction Monday on Friday morning. Normally, Reaction Monday is at 8 a.m. on Mondays, which it will be this week, but not next week. Let's just not get ahead of ourselves, okay?
Yeah.
I'm doing a little too much. I feel like I'm the offensive line. Like my message is getting confused. Just ignore that message.
You're not communicating well, but it's also not communication.
Check out the schedule in the description. Always remember, when it comes to this Texan stuff, we're all in it together. We love you very much.
Eat good, sleep good, be good. We'll talk Texans again soon. Thanks for watching, everybody.